Thanks for tuning in to the Beyond Normal podcast, where we highlight minority business owners and founders, and we use this platform to shed light on their entrepreneur journey. Welcome everybody to another episode of the Beyond Normal podcast. I am your host, Kenny Groom. Excited to have my guest on today. We've been working on this for a while, but before we get into things, just want to shout out our partner, Velour. Their slogan is, just don't import it. Make sure you velour it. They're doing incredible things in the import space, offering independently owned craft brands to wholesale buyers around the world. Excited again to have Velour partnering with us for not one season, but the second season in a row. We're building together, building this community out. Excited to have everybody on joining us today. I see folks are still joining into the room. A couple folks have already chimed in via the chat on YouTube and Facebook. We got you covered. Just want to shout out a couple people so far. Greenhouse Fitness saying dreams come true. Young Kings, that's so true. This conversation here, you guys don't want to miss it. Tell everyone within your network, if they ain't in here, send them that link. Tell them to tap in with us, right? Because we're about to have an amazing conversation. Brooks Sinclair, one of the best podcasts on the internet. We are building something incredible here. We got our special guest. And last but not least, June Harland. She's reaching out to our guests, right? So I'm going to get to our guests in a second, but hi, Jordan, standing by. So without further ado, right, I want to introduce our guest, Jordan Gaither. He is the founder of Law Pocket, right? The slogan is keep the law where it belongs, in your pocket. That's so cold, that slogan there, guys. But just for a general overview, Law Pocket synthesizes legal information and connects users to attorneys. Really simple but powerful solution in the current times that we're in. But without further ado, let me bring our guest to the stage. Jordan, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Kenny. How about yourself? Thanks for having me on.
Yes. We're going to hop right into it. We got to pop that logo right up there. Want to make sure that we represent for your brand. Let's start out by, I'm going to pass the mic to you. Tell the folks a little bit around your background, leading up to you becoming a founder. Like, tell us a little bit about Jordan.
Yeah. So, I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana, went to Grambling State University, pledged Alpha Phi Alpha there, and then went to Vermont Law School. And it was there in Vermont where I got the idea to do Law Pocket. It was my first semester. I was in a contracts class, and a teacher came in and said, you can do legal technology. It's a thing. And at the time, I was doing really bad my first semester, as, a lot of law students struggle trying to understand, how it works. And I thought to myself, if I'm struggling to understand this, and I've been doing this for X amount of months and reasonably a few years, I know that everybody else is probably having a difficulty. So I took the time, fall 2014 to about summer 2015, to think about different type of solutions that could help. And I was like, you know what? I want to do like the iPhone of the law. Like, you should be able to hit a button or ask a few questions, and you should be able to get an answer or be able to get connected to a legal service provider, being a legal aid, a lawyer, or a solo practitioner or law firm for that matter, that can help you out with the law. And so I took a class called Legal Hacktivists and started the program, and it kind of just took off from there.
Thanks for sharing that, Jordan. I'm just sitting here taking some notes, and you just touched on so many things there. But touch a little bit on, like you said, you went to Grambling. We actually got some folks chiming in already. Who you with? OG. I don't want to get your name wrong, but I'm gonna call you OG. But thanks for chiming in there. Talk a little bit about, really what are some of the characteristics of somebody who wants to go into this legal space, right? And go into this space, the law field. Like, Like, what drives you to go down that path?
Well, anybody that knows me knows that I typically don't do the regular path and I don't go the normal route. But, in particular, there's so many people that need help with getting access to the law. And when I was a intern and an apprentice at the DeKalb County District Attorney's Office, there were so many young African American women and men that were my age at the time who were just, being incarcerated, and the families that were broken up because of this, and not be able to have access to legal help and not really knowing the process or the system. And, a lot of times it's not so much that people can't afford it. It's so much of the procedure, right? Because, you can have all the money in the world that you want, but you have to know the procedure, right? When people are arrested or when they're taken in for arraignment, there's certain things that you can and cannot do in the process of your legal issue. And there's nowhere that you can go where someone just adequately breaks it down in an intuitive format, right? To understand the law is a very, I'd say, privileged thing as of the sort, right? Like, you have a better chance of ordering a pizza than you do in getting legal services that could change your life. And, that's the mindset and the outlook that you have to think about and go for when you're talking about the law. And so a lot of what it takes is a lot of dedication, a lot of late nights. And you have to understand that you're walking into a dark space where you're the leader, and no one's really going to see the light until you create the space and you're in there long enough to sort of create a path towards your idea and scoping it down bit by bit. But last but not least, you need a team. You need a team of people that can certainly help you and support you and guide you along the way, and good mentors to help boost where you're trying to go.
Whew. Thank you for that, Jordan. You said something in there. I want to put it on the screen. Pizza or legal services? Like, what's easier to get now? Like you just said, like, for a lot of people in our communities, it's easier to order a pizza, right, than to actually get the legal services that you need. And it's like, this space is very important. I did a little research, right, and so the American Bar Association did a study for 2020, and only 5%, right, of their lawyer, of the legal pool, the attorneys, right, are actually people that look like us, right, and we're 13% of the population, right, so we need more people to really to wear that hat, right, to go into this field. And then the technology piece of it, I feel like it just enabled, right, so many more people to have that access that you're talking about. Like, how do you feel like that? Like, when you hear a stat like that, only 5%, right? Based off the American Bar Association, I know that's a certified organization within the field, but like, what are your thoughts when you hear that only 5% of the terms in the legal representatives in that profession look like us?
Well, it's not surprising. When you go to law school, you are typically the only one, that looks like you in the room, provided that you go to a historically Black college that has a law school, like your Howards and FAMUs and a couple other places. It'll be a little bit different. But the school I went to, and like most other people, it's probably only like 4 or 5, African American students in your class, just depending on where you are. Now, I do think progressively with time, those numbers look a little bit better, and then probably what they did in the past. But that's the beauty of technology, right? Being able to be connected to people that you may not ordinarily have been able to be connected to. And so Law Pocket is giving people the ability to connect with somebody that looks like you. Because right now, if you want to get it connected with an attorney, the only way you're going to really get it connected with the attorney is if you utilize Google, or somebody, or maybe you're a repeat offender and you already have, you're already connected with an attorney, but it's not something that's readily available. And so, in the vein of trying to get representation that looks like you, sometimes the people that look like us don't have a visible profile, right? Because what people don't understand is that, to have a visible profile is more than just having a LinkedIn or having a website. It's about search engine optimization. It's about analytics. What is the data, behind the positioning of your website? Because you can have a website and that's invisible and not even know it, right? Like you have to really put the mechanics and the technical work to make sure that your name is visible when someone searches the term. And quite honestly, if you're not paying top dollar for those types of um, technical manifests and instrumentalities to be able to have the best proper placement on these platforms, no one's going to know. And no one's going to take the time to do that. So an app like Law Pocket is essential because we do that work for you, right? We already work through the synthesis and the modules and the placement, right? You go on Law Pocket and it's like having a lawyer in your pocket, whether you engage in paid features or whether you just utilize it for free, you can access an attorney for representation. And so, the goal of Law Pocket is to make legal services more accessible for people. And that also most certainly includes having a stronger representation of minorities and Black and brown people in the legal space. Also help them get more clientele and provide for them a visible and virtual platform that will allow for them to intuitively offer service to people who really need it. Are you still with us? So I'm not for sure if you can hear me or not, but it seems like we're still live. So I'm going to freestyle a little bit while I guess you're coming back online. I'm just very happy for the opportunity to connect and speak with people who are joining me on this journey for Law Pocket. It's been a very long time coming, and I'm very excited to have a strong community of people that support this initiative of what it is that we're trying to do. It's difficult to enter into the legal tech space with a product that provides a comprehensive service, and that's kind of what Law Pocket differs from some of your other legal services that are out there. Most of your legal services are going to traditionally do one thing, right? They're going to focus on cloud management. They're going to focus on document management. They're going to focus on e-discovery. There are some apps and some companies out there that do represent you, but the issue is that these people that run these platforms and companies, they don't have a cultural mindset. They don't have the same kind of consciousness as a minority individual would do so. And, minorities are in a unique position to market and speak to large groups of people, right? We're in a time now where it's not just enough to do something, right? There has to be some sort of social and cultural proponent to what it is that you're trying to do. If you look at any app that's been developed, I'd say post 2010, it has a social component. And if it doesn't have a social component, it's not that successful. And so it can be difficult, trying to explain to people the comprehensive effects and benefits of an app like this is because legal technology is relatively a new field. Fintech, medtech, other hard tech based type apps and functionalities are easy and simple for people to understand. And so the way we are entering into this space, thank you, Lalu. The way we're entering into this space is it's a little bit new, and sometimes the water's a little rocky, but we're managing. But this to me is the most important part, the community aspect, getting people together and involved in Law Pocket. And so one of the features and one of the things that we're looking to do for Law Pocket is to have a legal community. And within this legal community, lawyers, legal aid, law firms, and other legal service provider like people and professionals can engage and talk to people about what's going on, right? And so, we bring up like the George Floyd matter. It's great that we have a lot of outlets where we can go to understand things. We can go to Twitter, we can go to Facebook, we can go to Instagram, we can even go on the news in different types of places. But what we really need is we need a central database, a location that says this is the law. This is where we go to when we need legal information. We don't really need to go to social media, because when we go to social media, right, we see everything, and that's fine. But when we want to know what's going on in our country, or the world for that matter, from a public policy perspective or a legal perspective, we need to know. When we want to laugh and joke and see something, we can go on YouTube, or we can go on Instagram, or these different platforms, right? If I want to see sports, and go to ESPN. Well, what about the law? If I want to go to the law, where do I go, right? And it's privileged. You have to go to somebody. You have to go to some gatekeeper, and we're opening up those gates. We're making it possible for people to get access, and I'm certainly not complaining, because that's not what I do. But it is important for people to understand the complexities that are involved in taking a task like this up. And for me, what we're doing and how we're approaching Law Pocket is a little bit untraditional. My goal is to market Law Pocket like a mixtape, right? A mixtape sometimes circulates much faster than an album does, because it's free, and there's songs and music on there that you already relate to. So you already pick up on the artist. And we've seen people like Drake, J. Cole do that successfully. Well, it's no different in the tech space, right? In order for you to get your product out there, in order for you to get your solution, right, you need to give people something that's familiar, right? And apps and downloading the app, and that's familiar, but what is it after that? And my concern is the social cultural phenomena of, I have a lawyer in my pocket. I don't need to go the traditional route of ads and search engine optimization to get that done. We will do that, of course, but the focus is building a community, not building a brand. I'm not selling you a lifestyle. I'm not trying to replace anything. I'm giving you a resource, providing you an outlet to connect to what it is that you need to get to where you need to go. And as a people and as a community, this is what we need, right? We need to have that access. We need to be able to express what's going on. So we want to be able to foster that community in Law Pocket, because we know everybody can afford services. So, hey, there are attorneys that have to meet those pro bono service hours. Why not advertise that on Law Pocket? We like to have a lot of different. Okay, I see you're back. Okay,
I'm back, Jordan.
Okay, sorry.
I'm back. Technical difficulties. My team on the back end made sure to help me out. Quick refresh. But what you were just saying there, Jordan, was powerful. So I wanted to sit in the background, give you that space, make sure you get on that soapbox, right? I think that's exactly what this platform is built on, right? Founders like yourself, and you're early on in this process, and like we can see in the comments, right, where I can pull up, comment after comment that people are chiming in with. Appreciate the engagement, everybody. But this is something that we really need in our community. And you touched on something there. I think just the idea of having it in your pocket, building that community. I think of education, right? You mentioned there's a process into becoming, getting into the legal space, becoming an attorney, accredited, American Bar Association, things like that. Like, what in our community specifically, though, what are some of the pieces of information that you feel like aren't highlighted or aren't marketed to us enough, right? Because when it comes to legal representation and just some of the things that are our rights in this country, it's almost like, we may not know enough, but then the people who present it to us or present outlets, it's like, hey, you got to take AP government, right? They present it in that light where it's a little bit more complicated. So could you, break it down for us, right, in simple terms, in terms of what are some of the pieces of information that sometimes we need to know about and oftentimes we don't?
So just to get it straight, it sounded like you asked two questions. One was about, I guess, more questions about legal representation, and then the other was like the steps to becoming an attorney in law school.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, cool. So I'll talk about the steps for law school first, and then I'll go back to the latter of the question. You know, I think that it's law school is a little discouraging, and it's a matter of numbers, right? The numbers just aren't there for enough of minorities who are saying like, hey, I'm doing law school. Like, we know somebody, right? But the process, that one, you take this test called the LSAT, right? And the LSAT has no indicator as to how good of an attorney you'll be. It's more of a barrier to kind of weed out who really wants it and who really doesn't. And it's very difficult to study for. And, if you don't get a certain score, you're not getting in. So you have to get into law school it's more about your self-discipline than it is like the exposure. Because a lot of people want to do it, but once you actually sit down and study, and then the money that it takes to have a good tutor, the time, and people just don't have that. And when you're in college, it's hard to have that mindset to say, okay, I'm gonna do this for my senior year of when I was at Grambling. I was off the grid for like the last 2 semesters because I was focused on trying to get into law school. And the exam scores that you get on the LSAT aren't that great. Me in particular, I didn't do so well. The LSAT is out of 180 points. You get 120 for walking in the door and signing your name. I got a 131 on my LSAT, which is really low. And I applied everywhere, and a school by the name of Vermont Law School, they reached out. They said, we might have a place for you here. That's where I'm wearing my green blazer. That's my school colors, and I think I look good in it. But and so they gave me opportunity. And, the Dean Jefferson said, why should I let you in the school? And I said, well, if you give me 3 words, I'll give you a poem and I'll let you know that, I'm ready to get it. And I said, when you invest in Jordan Gaither, being in your law school, when you look back 5-10 years from now, you're going to say, I'm glad we had that young man, a part of our school. And so, I think there are more programs out there that are allowing and kind of getting the narrative out there for African Americans and minorities to get into law school. But it's more so, are the people around you, are your friends, are your core group, are they doing it, right? Because even if your friends are going to med school or going to be filmmakers or going to get their MFAs or masters and advanced degrees in whatever field, we have to place ourselves in a circle to be successful. So prior to me going to law school, I spent 2 summers as a McNair scholar at the University of Iowa. So I was in a community and I had peers who were, their plans were to actively become doctors and lawyers and things afterwards. So on top of me kind of already wanting to move forward, I was able to communicate and network with these people, and I understood the graduate process. And, it's difficult. I had all my friends that know me when I was in school, I had a big calendar on my wall, and I would contact the law schools every day. And every day I would contact the law schools to let them know, like, hey, do I have a chance to get in? And it's like that repetitive dedication, and that repetitive dedication kind of carries over to seeking legal representation, right? Like we have to really hunt down the opportunities and resources that we have. And, it also costs money. It costs a lot of money to be able to get your face and name out there, because in the legal world, you can't, the rules for advertisement and marketing and engagement are a little bit different, right? You can't just actively say, oh, I'm a lawyer and these are my services and oh, sign up. It's right. There are a lot of ethical rules that kind of deter how you can do that. And the ethical rules also differ per state that you're in. So, being a lawyer in itself has its own barriers, and is really designed to where if you aren't really a part of a community of people that are already kind of pushing and pubbing you to get to where you need to go, it becomes a little difficult. But what we see is that technology evens the platform, right? Like places like social media give young creatives, young entrepreneurs the ability to have a platform of viewership that's a little bit different. So when they're able to go, to, a film company like Sony or what have you, or Universal, they can already say, well, hey, we already got traction, we already got viewers. Very similar to what we'll be doing with Law Pocket. Say, hey, we've got YouTube interviews, we have traction on LinkedIn, we have these different things. And so that is where, legal representation is going these days. It's becoming a lot more technological. We're not living in the days where you just pay, $10,000 for a post for a billboard or put your name on a bus or a park bench. You have to be more digital. And, a lot of attorneys are old school. They aren't willing to adapt. And some of the newer attorneys, they are, but, people are comfortable. And, we have to, change that narrative. And I'm taking up the mantle and task along with a lot of other people to get everybody on this digital platform that everybody can be a part of. And I'll say the last thing is that the huge issue is that we aren't social enough about the law. We don't make it a conversation. We don't make it fun. We don't make it attractive or sexy to talk about. We make it that thing that, oh, don't talk about that unless you're about to get jammed or unless you're booked, or right. Like that's the only time we talk about it. We don't talk about like, what, I need to protect my assets, or actually, what, I need to go ahead and incorporate, or actually, what, I need to trademark this. Oh, who can do this? Who can do that? Right. And see, other cultures, they have people that do that. Those are just natural conversations. And then when we do find someone, it's too expensive, and because we only know one or two people that can do it. Right. And so the goal is to increase the exposure of people that are aware of what's going on and how to get access to these services. And ultimately, people can find the most economic price that's advantageous for them.
I appreciate that breakdown there, Jordan. We got a couple people that have chimed in. June chimed in. How do you patent this approach? Because the way that you're breaking things out, like you said, Jordan, it sounds like it's tangible. It's something that we can touch, we can grasp in our head, right? Mm-hmm. And that's a consistent theme throughout our whole conversation so far. I want to go back to OG's comment though, because I want us to pivot the conversation a little bit. OG chimed in. I love the business acumen. What lessons have you learned thus far in regards to creating Law Pocket? And I want us to dive into, so far, what are some of those things that you learned? Maybe some of the things you've applied, right, from your legal experience, from your education that you've seen fit well with. You were in the hat of an entrepreneur, because in this moment in time, you're an entrepreneur and founder of a tech company.
Well, you have to think outside the box, and you have to be able to drive the Lamborghini down the beaten path, right? And you have to understand that. Right. To me, that's the biggest lesson. I could tell you a lot of things about business. I could, regale you about a lot of cool stuff, but I'm going to get to the brass tacks. I think in Elon Musk's book, his wife, made a good example of what it's like to be a startup founder. You have to be willing to go into the unknown. You have to be willing to go into that. That is the biggest lesson that I learned, is that no one's going to do it but you, right? And if you don't do it, then who will? But as far as the creation of the app, and as far the process, I listen to a lot of people, and I don't really. And when I say a lot of people, I don't mean like venture capitalists and angel investors and other startup founders, which is fine, but I listen to people, right? And I think when you listen to people, that will always place where you need to go, because people are what's going to use these things. In 2019, I had the opportunity to be an executive producer, and that opportunity showed me that, you know what, the person that gave me this opportunity had the mindset to say, this guy's never produced a film or a music video on the day of his life, but he has the mindset of someone to do that. Shout out to Mark Diamond and Champ Hagans for that opportunity to let me do that, right? Working in the music industry space with different creatives gave me that ability to see, okay, it's much more than just getting people that know tech, right? You need to get people that understand culture. You need to get people that understand art. You need to get people that understand finance, right? You need to be, as a founder, you need to be able to walk in any room and say, I'm Jordan Gaither, and this is Law Pocket, and this is how it relates to you, and I need you on my team, right? So that, and that, I think that's another thing, is that the people on my team are so diverse, right? I have, people that work for Accenture, people that work for Google, people that work for different types of law firms, the military. We are a diverse team, and as long as you have a diverse mindset, as long as you're open and you can see and think intuitively in difference. You have to understand the je ne sais quoi of things. You have to understand the gift in the middle, right? Where light and dark meets is a little bit of sunshine. And as a founder, you have to be able to find that. You have to be able to find where those things meet. And yeah.
Thanks for that breakdown, Jordan. And as you were going through, like going down that the beaten path in your Lamborghini, right? You're gonna mess the Lamborghini up some, right? It's gonna be kind of bumpy, right? Why would you drive your Lamborghini in the snow, for example, right? I think about, there's usually some discomfort, some pain, right, that you're gonna feel along the process. So I'm curious for you, like what's been the most painful thing going through the process of being a founder for you so far?
Few things happened. In 2019, one of my best friends and kind of co-founder, he passed away, and he was very instrumental in me getting to where I needed to go. He was a go-to guy, extremely smart, and incredibly tough on me. Super tough. I felt like someone was pledging me all over again. And but he'd always tell me, like, there's no excuses when you're a founder. And so that was hard. And it's still hard. It was very hard to lose him because there are not a lot of friends and allies in this space. And when you have somebody that's talented like that supports you along the way and they up and go, it's tough. On top of that, financially, when you pitch your idea, people expect that this is the only thing that you're doing. And it's debatable. Different people see different things. I think that's a little bit of a privileged mindset to think that someone's just going to do this all day without having any kind of financial support. And then only for you to tell them yay or nay, 85 to 95% of the time, they're going to say nay, and they're supposed to keep going. That is extremely difficult. I can't tell you the number of times that I've had to ask somebody for financial help and humble myself because I chose not, I chose not to focus on taking the bar. I chose not to take the traditional route because I felt like, all right, that's cool, but then what? Okay, I become a lawyer. I make six figures. I drive a nice car. I go to court. I talk well. I represent these people. But okay, what happens after that? Everybody does that. Everybody goes to law school. Everybody passes the bar. But everybody does not create something in their field that has a cause and effect on a community of people. And trying to support yourself in that process as financially is extremely difficult. I can't tell you how many nights I've cried on the phone, how many times I went crazy, how many times I've been stressed out, how many times I thought I was a failure because I didn't have it all and wanting to do what I wanted to do and feeling like, oh, I'm successful and I should be here, I should be there. That's hard. Mentally, it is I can't express that enough. It's very difficult. You have to be you got to be mentally tough and you have to have a good support. And I mean, I think those two things, having your foundation financially, it's tough. But if you can hang on and make adjustments and it'll work out, but it is difficult.
Appreciate that transparency there, Jordan. Like you said, you're going down a path that in a lot of instances, there's no way to Wikipedia it, right? And see, all right, let me go down a journey and go down a path that has some GPS. Like my GPS knows where it's going, right? This is a road that very little take. So we definitely commend you for going down that path, even in your field. Your field's already selected, right? When it comes to the representation of people that look like us. But you're taking it a step further and saying, all right, how do I build something that really impacts my community? And so the road is not going to be easy. You touched on a lot of things there around losing people that, are important in your life. You're still human, right? But you still have to put some of that to the side at times and then focus on your business. And then the financial piece, like that cannot be said loud enough. Like we all gotta pay our bills, we all gotta eat, and so Nia actually said something while you were chiming in. Period, because what you just spoke about, the whole process of it is really something that I hear from a lot of founders, right? And we always hear around about the glamorized stories, right? But in our instances in our community, a lot of times we don't get that glamorized, unicorn, $0 to $1 billion story, right? There's going to be some sweat equity that goes into it.
Yeah, certainly.
So a couple folks have chimed in, OG Clamp. So they're actually segueing me perfectly into our next question. So we actually have a question that is sponsored by our partners over at Velour. Again, Velour is doing some amazing things in the field of import when it comes to craft beverages, not just breweries, but craft beverages in general. But we came up with this idea, right, around Brooke Sinclair, who's been in the audience, around world domination, right? Like in our field, we want to make sure that we're putting products out there that are market leading. How do we go about executing that game plan for world domination in our field, right? And so OG Clamp is really getting to the heart of that, right? Like, where do you see Envision Law Pocket, in the next few years? And what does that world domination look like for you, right? Because we all have that end goal. We all have that North Star that we're going after, that we're chasing each and every day.
Yeah. So, I say, within 5 years, I see law firms becoming less physical and more virtual. and I see them becoming virtual on a Law Pocket platform. Another thing that we want to do within the next 3 to 5 years are to have law pocket centers and hubs in economically disenfranchised communities and neighborhoods where people can just go and walk in, and it's like a legal clinic, and it would be paid for by Law Pocket, where we would have legal aid and legal staff on tap to answer your legal questions that may happen on community basis. Maybe someone unfairly turned out your lights or your water and you have a dispute about it, or someone just hit your car, or your tenant or your landlord evicted you, or your tenant's not paying, and sometimes those are things that can be mitigated without having to go to court, after people can see what their legal viable options. And so that is my goal, is for, as the years go on, is for us to become more entrenched in the community where Law Pocket is a household name for your legal issues. I'd say next year, I see us definitely being more in the culture and the space of, oh, you need an attorney? Oh, why don't you get on Law Pocket? I'm goal is to have about 10,000 legal service providers within the year, actively utilizing the app, understanding and getting in the mindset that I can use this virtual platform to get access to legal help. But more importantly, within the year, I hope that new budding attorneys that have just passed the bar, or people that want to move off and open up their own law firm, that they're able to consider Law Pocket first, because the cost to start your own business or your own law firm are quite exorbitant, right? You have to have a library of books and information to do certain things. So Law Pocket can help alleviate some of those costs that would normally be incurred by incoming budding attorneys.
I appreciate that transparency there. And I think you just actually touched on something, because the market that you're creating, it is two-sided, right? In terms of obviously, everyday citizens, right? We have things that we want legal representation, legal service for, right? But then on the other side of that, like you just touched on, I didn't even think about that, the opportunity for our attorneys to actually to be able to build out services and things like that. Can you talk a little bit about, like you mentioned the number of 10,000 attorneys, but like just some of the opportunities that you see, like with things going more digital for some, a space like the legal space where it's been like paperwork, this, notarize that, like what do you see coming up on that side of the market for you?
Yeah, so definitely. Oh, and I forgot to mention another thing is we also are looking to, within the year, provide access to bar services and tutorship for people, right? So that's an exorbitant cost for third-year law students that are going on to take the bar. So that's something that we want to be able to provide in a different format and access to different people that provide it, right? And so I guess what I'm saying is that we are looking to become a marketplace for all things legal, and not just a place where you connect with attorneys. But that's how we're going to start. But as far as the benefit for a lawyer, yeah, I mean, if you look at some of the platforms that are out there, you have Avo, you could put your practice on LinkedIn, or you could do it on Facebook, but you can't really manage it on there. And, in order to really get that notoriety, you yourself have to be somebody, right? Your law firm could win $1 million cases, but if me, Jordan Gaither, I'm a lame, like I have no followers, no one knows
You're
me.
not a lame, Jordan.
No. I know I'm not I know I'm not a lame. I'm saying just in the example, if I'm not well connected in the community, and I put this law firm out there, well, no one knows. But if I'm in a marketplace where people are going for attorneys, like Upwork, right? Like Upwork is a marketplace for Upwork, Fiverr, right? They're marketplaces for people that need all kinds of services. It doesn't matter how popular those people are on the platform, right? All that matters is that you see that, oh, this person made X amount of dollars in what they did. Oh, these portfolios of what they did are great, right? But if they were to do that on their own without a marketplace that provides the understanding that you're here to buy the service, right, it might be a little bit more difficult. And that's what we've seen. The attorneys that themselves are socially popular, they're able to have the better platforms. And so the things that happen with Law Pocket is that, yeah, like Mr. Oganyemi said, it gives the opportunity for lawyers to have services that they didn't necessarily have access to, right? Like managing your case files, doing client intake management. And let me be transparent. There are apps and companies that do that, but they don't do it in a way that is intuitive. And I repeat this word a lot, intuitive, because we need to provide service to people that makes sense. When you type on your phone and you're trying to say a word, Apple, Google, whoever, they correct it for you. That's intuitive. That's artificial intelligence, right? That's natural language processing, right? It's called deep learning. It's understanding the text and the input that people have already to be able to do that. And so that's another thing, is that, we want to utilize artificial intelligence to be able to get people access, right? And attorneys will be able to take advantage of that. And again, there are other companies that do provide artificial intelligence, but you're going to be paying, an exorbitant amount of money, $800-900 a month for these types of services. And what we're looking to do is create modules and opportunities to where it's a little bit more affordable and a little bit more accessible for people to get their hands on.
Thanks for that breakdown there, Jordan. And so next up, somebody else commented earlier, but I want to segue the conversation. Brooke said, is Law Pocket available now? She's asking for a friend. But on top of that, right, Jordan, if you could, right, just give us, give the folks a little breakdown around where they can go to connect with the brand moving forward. I want to make sure I give you the floor so folks know where to go to check on all things Law Pocket at this time.
Absolutely. First, it's not in the App Store yet. We are currently building an MVP. I've been spending a lot of late nights with people all around the world in the development process on that. So it is coming relatively soon. We have an Instagram page. It's at Law Pocket. We have a Twitter page, Law Pocket 1. And we also have a LinkedIn account. So we have a lot of different things on there that people can be accessible, engage with. We're in the process of creating some content for people to engage in as well. So be on the lookout for that. But that is where you can be accessible to the types of information that we're going to be providing for Law Pocket.
Thanks so much for that breakdown there, Jordan. I'll make sure we package everything up as well, make sure it's an easily digestible, easily accessible place for folks to make sure that they engage with the brand as you're building out this product. Again, I just want to thank you for coming on our platform, right, to share your story. Your story is amazing. You're in a space, like you said, a lot of times you're the only Black person at the table already, and then for you to take this on and say, hey, I want to make sure that our community comes along for that ride, and maybe we have our own table, right? We don't know what it looks like, right? But we got to have access. We got to have an equitable playing field, and I feel like a solution like Law Pocket, once from our first conversations, I was like, man, this is so needed. Just after the 2020, the conversations we had, and now 2021, where I feel like it feels like people are trying to be empowered, right? They're trying to feed this muscle up here and feed it as much information as they can so they can make smart choices moving forward. But with that said, I want to pass it to you. I always pass it to our guests to close out every single episode. Just anything you want to leave the folks with, you want to close us out with. I'll let you get on the soapbox as long as you want. Take your time, but what do you want to leave folks with?
I think we covered a lot, but I think I just want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to all of my friends and family that have supported me with Law Pocket. all those Cash Apps and Zelle payments, they didn't go to waste. Thank you so much. When I stay up late till 5 a.m. and somebody texts me, or I can call them, that means a lot. I don't think I could be here. Actually, I know I wouldn't be here without the support of all of you. So I greatly appreciate the love and sponsorship and help that people have given me. I think that's what I really want the takeaway to be, is that, it's cool to do these things, but, you really got to have people support you. And that's very important. And then if you don't have people that support you, you have to find those people or surround yourself with people who do, because you're only as successful as the people around you. And if you're not around people that are doing successful things, then you need to change your avenue and place yourself in the right channel to tune in into an atmosphere of success. That's what, it's really about, is how bad do you want it? What are you willing to undergo? What are you willing to undertake to get yourself to the next level? And that's a team, having people around you that can give you advice. And they don't have to be, tech people. They don't have to be entrepreneurs or businesses, but they just need to be people. They need to be people who have, valuable insight, who have your interest best at heart. And so I'm very excited about what we're doing. I was able to show some people some of the test mock-ups of what the MVP is going to look like, and it's very exciting. We've been working really hard, burning the midnight oil, staying up very late in different time zones, making things happen. But this is a very exciting time for us, and I'm just glad that everybody can sort of see the journey from the ground up. And I'd like to say we're a little bit above the ground, not too far from it, but we are in the process of acquiescing to a higher plateau. And this is just exciting, and that's about all I have to say. Thank you so much for everybody tuning in. I am going to start doing some more conversations like this, and so this was very fun. Everybody knows I like to talk a lot, so so I want to get people together, have more conversations about the law, right? And more conversations with different people who are informed about the law, and just see, where that goes. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll turn it back over to you, Mr. Kenny.
I think you just kind of ended it, so I don't even want to add much else.
Okay.
I want to do the mic drop,
okay. All right.
Again, all right. I'll close out just by, again, saying thank you for using our platform. The comment section was engaging the entire time. I could tell you have your tribe, right? And it's good to have your tribe in moments like this, where, they're asking questions, they're chiming in, right? And we're all learning. I learned so much just by, having the people in the comments, right? And helping me segue. A couple of folks actually set up some really good alley-oops for segues for my next question.
Is this recorded?
Yes, this is recorded.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're going to be on YouTube.
Right.
I'll go ahead and kind of break that down. But we're once we end this broadcast, we're going to be on YouTube. We're going to be on Facebook, folks. For the folks who are still engaging with us, make sure you tell folks about it. We want to make sure that we spread the message. It's good to have these conversations recorded so that we have some playback. I'm actually in the process now. I'm the picture guy in my family. I have picture books full of stuff. I've got recordings. I got video. We got to start making sure that we're capturing these moments, like you said, Jordan, because it's the journey that really matters. Absolutely. So on that note, did you have anything else, Jordan?
I didn't. Thank you for having me on here.
Yes. So on that note, I just want to say thanks for tuning in, everybody, to the Beyond Normal podcast. Thanks for tuning in to the Beyond Normal podcast. We can be streamed across all major streaming platforms in addition to YouTube. Come back again.